PPF is a learned skill, a trade, a profession, and it's not easy. And our mission, though, is to make it accessible for everyone so that they could do it themselves. We've had thousands of people do it successfully, but I'm not saying that it's easy and everybody's going to be able to do it. That begs the question, should you do it yourself or should you take it to a pro shop? So before we go into the debate, I just want to talk about what paint protection film is, also called PPF. For those of you who don't know, it's a film that goes on top of your vehicle that's made out of polyurethane, TPU, that protects the vehicle. Most of the time it's going to be clear, but sometimes it could also be matte or satin finish. And lately there's also been color PPF, which is a full color transition as well. So PPF isn't easy, but it's also not cheap. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to look at do-yourself option, we're going to look at the pro option, and we're going to try to break it down in 3 categories of what makes sense. We're going to break it down in costs, we're going to break it down to convenience and flexibility, and lastly, we're also going to break it down in quality. The biggest difference for the pro and the do-yourself is always going to be the cost. And in this case, do-yourself is always going to be much cheaper. And here's the thing about the difference between the two, is that the number one cost for us as a pro shop is that it's always going to be labor. It's not really material. Material is a big part of that equation. However, because it is a skilled labor and it does take time for people to get good at, number one is going to always be labor. So when you look at a do-yourself kit like us and we cut it, yes, we pay for the materials, we design the kit so that it fits the do-yourselfer in mind. So that all takes time, but then once we do that, because it can be replicated, right? It's going to be significantly lower than someone physically doing it for you. So as far as the differences in cost, I'm going to be talking about like our price, but I think it is a decent reflection of what the cost is going to be in a national level. So if you look at like the front kit, which is going to be like the hood, the lights in the front bumper, the fender, and then the mirror, you're going to be looking at like $2,200 to $2,400 just for the front area. For a do-yourself kit for ours start at around like $799 all the way to like $900, roughly around, and sometimes we give discounts. So that's typically, if you think about it, it's roughly about a third of what you're going to be paying for, right? If you do like a full vehicle, again, the differences would be like $2,400 for like do-yourself, roughly, it can be a little cheaper with discounts, and then $6,000 for a pro install, right? So again, that's almost like a little bit less than 4x cheaper. So again, that's really the big difference. It's 3 to 4 times cheaper, but again, you don't really have that convenience of having, being able to drop off your car and then pick it up right away. Which gets me to the next point about convenience and flexibility. On a pro install, it is far more convenient in some ways. The convenient part about it is most reputable shops, you can drop the car off. Like what we do is we do like a Monday drop off, typically a Friday pickup. If it's a larger job, we'll keep it for the whole week. So the convenience is you don't really have to worry about prepping the car. You don't have to do any of that. I think the inconvenience about this aspect is going to be, you have to figure out what am I going to do on those few days that you're not going to be, that you're not going to have your car and it's out of commission. On the do-yourself side, it's going to be far more convenient because you get to control some of the factors like when to do it and where to do it. It's really great because you can start it on a Friday or maybe a Saturday and then finish by Monday and you can drive your car, right? So I think that's what I mean by having that flexibility. So I think for the convenience, I think there's some aspects of a pro install that's going to be far more convenient, mainly being that you don't do really any of it. So if I were to like score the two, I do think they're about even because there's some inconveniences and also some conveniences from both of them. But one thing that'll be harder to control on the do-yourself side is going to be the quality, right? So that gets to the last point. On a pro side, as long as it's a really reputable shop and they know what they're doing and they're really good at what they do, some shops are just phenomenal, you're going to get far better, superior quality, right? I think a lot of our customers, we had thousands of people who've done it successfully, and I've been very, very impressed. Like some of them is really, really good install, but some of them is okay. But then the thing about paint protection film is paint protection film. It's not necessarily supposed to be a showroom car and get it to that standard, you're saving a lot of money so that you can actually protect your car and put film what it's supposed to do. But for the most part, if you look at a really good shop versus a do-yourself, the quality is always gonna be better on a pro standpoint, and for good reasons. I mean, they've been doing this for years. They've practiced their craft and their trade, so they have a lot of tips and tricks. And the way we get close to that, though, is by providing resources from our professional experience from other installers and us, and being able to equip you so you can kind of like skip through some of that process. So hopefully this was helpful. There's not really a right or wrong answer. And the perspective that we're trying to give is we are an e-commerce store, and that's what we do. We sell do-yourself kits, but we're also a pro shop. We install PPF, vinyl, ceramic coating, like all the time, right? So that being said, we're trying to provide the perspective from both ends, and then also as a Tesla owner. So I think it really depends on your factors and what you're looking for. I mean, is it like cost that you're looking for? Is it the quality that you're looking for? Sometimes you can't necessarily, get both, right? And then if you're like a super do-yourselfer and you're very handy, then this may be a perfect fit for you, right? Whatever the case may be, just kind of ask yourself, like, what am I trying to do? What's the most important for me? And typically that question will lead to the answer. Well, hopefully this helped, guys. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Please subscribe, and we'll see you later.